Appreciate your coming to our board meeting. Whether or not it'll be an official board meeting, I don't know, because we don't have an official quorum. We don't have any votes scheduled tonight, so it probably won't matter. I can cover everything that we plan to cover. And again, I welcome you. We'll also be videotaping the meeting. It'll be put on the website. And we appreciate your input. I'd like to kind of go over everything that kind of we've done over the last 7.5 months, what we're planning for the balance of the year, and some thoughts about the future. As you probably know, we established a 5-year plan to make Big Tree great again, and that's what we're focusing on. A lot of it will be determined by the board we have next year and what happens in the December elections. But in any event, I want to welcome you. Also a special welcome, we have 13 new homeowners at Big Tree in the last couple of months, which is exciting. The number will actually be 15 because we have 2 pending sales pending to close. So in the next 30 to 60 days, we'll have at least 15 new homeowners at Big Tree, which is an amazing turnaround from what it's been in the past. I wanted to mention, I don't know if you've seen or read our midterm report, which has been on our website. I encourage everybody, whether you're here live or you're watching the video, to be sure to sign up for the Townhomes of Big Tree website. We've put out 2 newsletters so far, one in March, which was mailed to all homeowners, kind of talked about everything we've been doing up to this point, and then a 19-page mid-year report, which really covers all the spending, all the financials, our plans, photos of the things we've done, what we're planning to do in the future in rough terms, and so I think you'll find it very, very informative. And I'd highly recommend that you, if you haven't already done so, that you read it over. Speaking to one of the issues that we really have right now is the fact that we really should have a board of 5 to 7 people, as Big Tree has always had in the past. I think we've accomplished a lot, and I'll talk about what we've done and what we're planning to do, but we're getting to the point now where we really need some other people to step forward. When my wife Pat and I bought our home a couple years ago, we thought all we had to do was pay dues, and if anything happens, you send an email or call, and magically everything gets fixed and taken care of and whatever. And lo and behold, we found out that's really not the case. Things didn't get done. Work orders weren't responded to. Things were kind of going downhill at Big Tree for quite a few years. There's a huge amount of wood rot, mold and mildew, homes in foreclosure. Very, very difficult to sell a home the last couple of years, and the prices were way, way below what they are now. So far, the 13 homes we sold, I think it was an average price of $124,900. So the prices are up significantly, and again, I'm very, very optimistic because although we've done a lot, there's a huge amount of things that need to be done that can make Big Tree even so much better than it is today. So you can give me your feedback and what you think about it. Again, so I encourage homeowners, in order to move forward and accomplish everything. It's impossible for 1 or 2 people to do everything that needs to be done and get it done satisfactorily. It's just not feasible, and we can't afford a management company to come in and do everything for us, and do the accounting, and communicate information, but other than that, it's up to the board, and you can see what board we have right at the moment. So it's extremely important. We have 5 or 6 or 7 people working as a team, working on the board can actually be fun. It won't be a burden on anyone in particular, but I will say that 1 or 2 people is really, really tough. If you want to see this community become all it can be, it really takes the involvement of the homeowners to do it. And so particularly encourage the new people to get involved, find out what's going on. I want to hear from the homeowners. I want your ideas, your suggestions, your feedback. We're all in this together. I'm a homeowner, and the sole reason that I ran for the board, I had no intention of or no interest in doing it, but when we saw things going downhill so badly, my wife and I decided we're either going to step forward and do something to try to change it, or we're just going to sell our house and get out of here because it's just not working the way we felt it should be. So that's kind of the way it's happening. In an official meeting, we're supposed to read the unapproved board meetings and vote. We really can't take a vote. It was an informative meeting, and really the only thing that was voted on and approved at our last meeting was our work rule procedures. And we'll be talking, Louis Lira is here, and he'll be talking about that as part of our meeting tonight. But it's a procedure. You actually have a handout in your last page in here. And it's just another attempt to keep you better informed of what we're doing and to have a formal follow-through process to make sure that work orders get dealt with in the most effective way we can, so that we get things done as effectively as we can. With that being said, let me just give you a quick rundown on some of the things we've done this year. If you read the newsletter, you're already aware of a great deal of it, or most of it. Again, we're dealing with, when I started analyzing this and putting together a 5-year plan, we recognized with the amount of work and the money, the funds that we're going to take to turn Big Tree around and make it the kind of community that I really feel it can be. Again, to make it great again, it was going to take a lot more money than we have, and it was going to take more time. So it was absolutely impossible to do it in a year or two. So we set up a 5-year plan. The primary focus initially is to take care of our major building maintenance and repair problems, replacing roofs, which have to be done in 20 years or you can't get insurance, gutters, eliminated the serious leaks, wood rot, mold and mildew, trying to improve the look of the community, which we've done a lot of, with new signs, new lights, or not improved lights, improved security system. So again, we've done a lot. There's a breakdown here which really shows building by building. We focused on in doing it. We rated all the buildings based on the condition of the building at the time. We picked out the worst ones to start with. So far we've done major repair work on over half of the Big Tree buildings. Again, there's still major work to do, still major issues. But we'll be putting on, we've paid for 4 roofs and gutters and whatever, I think $124,000 worth. And we've got 3 more to do this year, which again I'll be talking about. We'll be scheduling in the fall. I'm meeting with the roofer on Friday, and we'll be meeting with the other contractors in the near future, gutters, siding, painting, putting all the costs together and setting up a plan. What else? Yeah, the average price was $124,191. It was right there, but we'll be putting roofs on Building 9, Building 17, and Building 19. Building 38 also has a leak problem that just came up, and that roof may have to be replaced as well. So we'll figure out how we're gonna move forward on it. We also have some buildings that are relatively high priority in terms of fixing some of the serious siding problems and whatever, but we're going to have to plan now. We need to get the roofs done for sure. Those are an absolute critical matter, and we want to focus on getting as much done as we possibly can. Again, we have 2 pending sales. Both of them have wood rot and repair problems that need to be taken care of, or the buyers can't buy and the sellers can't sell. So those are 2 other important issues that I'm just looking at. One of the sales just happened yesterday, and the other one's about a week old. So we're still, in the process of evaluating what needs to be done, what the costs are going to be, and whatever. Next year, our overall plan is to try to complete all the major building maintenance and repair issues in the first 2 years. In other words, by the end of 2017, next year, and have all our buildings in really, really good shape. In the next 3 years, to focus on our infrastructure to a great extent, as well as ongoing maintenance and repair. We just don't fix the buildings and forget about them. There's going to be ongoing maintenance and painting and repair and update that we need to do to keep everything in really, really good condition. The really good news is that at the end of next year, after we do the 5 roofs in 2017, there's only going to be 1 roof to do for over 12 years. We're set up on a 20-year schedule, which is going to put a huge amount of money back into the budget that we have available for improving Big Tree in all aspects of Big Tree. We obviously want to spend the money wisely. We will want to build up a cash reserve for Big Tree, so there's never any need for a special assessment on homeowners, a dues increase of any kind. And our plan is predicated on the fact that there will be no dues increases or no assessments made in the 5-year plan. I mean, emergencies can happen and unforeseen things can happen, but I certainly don't expect it. I'm really optimistic, and again, I'm convinced as we move forward, we're going to see more and more positive changes. I just need some partners to work with. So think about it. You can call or email me or any of our new people to talk about it, and there's no lifetime commitment. My email address is KANN Larry, @gmail.com, and my phone number is 200-0682, and I'll be happy to talk to anybody. And again, you don't need to be a maintenance expert or a business expert. The main qualities we're looking for is someone who has a sincere interest in doing the best thing for Big Tree to make it the best community that we possibly can. Somebody that's willing to work as a team so that we can work together. And there's all kinds of things, all kinds of needs, whether it's scheduling, planning social events, or taking care of the pool and pavilion and overseeing that, taking care of the boatyard, doing follow-up phone calls, emails, just tons of things that would be very, very helpful in helping the community run better, be more responsive to the homeowners, and make sure that things don't fall through the crack. I mean, there's issues and things coming up every day on a day-to-day basis. So that's kind of a real rough outline of the plan. We can open it open. Might as well have Louis talk a little bit about the work order processing plan, and then we can kind of open it open for questions. The only thing I ask in questions, I know in the past there's been a problem with people being able to express their opinions and suggestions, and the Big Tree actually got kicked out of the YMCA a year ago. I got us back in, and with a promise that we would conduct ourselves in a positive, professional, respectful manner at all times. No yelling, no screaming, no swearing, no personal attacks. I don't mind if you have a different opinion or a criticism or a suggestion, you're more than welcome to bring it up. Just no yelling and screaming and getting things out of hand. So with that, let me have Louis come up and talk a little bit about our work order plan. And again, we'll just kind of open it up for questions or discussions on anything I mentioned. Any questions you have about things that are going on in the community or anything covered in the newsletter. Again, I also encourage, particularly the new people, if you haven't watched, there's where Carol Schaff is doing videos of all of our board meetings. And so it covers the presentations, all the discussions and questions. It covers all our past board votes. The last meeting, unfortunately, we had a technical problem and the video didn't work out. All the rest of them are online and they're available for you to watch. They're about an hour and a half long. So, Louis?
Thank you. For those of you that do not know me, my name is Luis Lara, and I'm a volunteer homeowner here at Victory. And currently I'm on the committee, the Budget and Finance Committee, along with Bill Jasper and Larry. And our focus is to look at our budget, look at our expenditure.
Let me just say one thing. It would be unfair. Louis mentioned Bill Jasper, and he spends the summer in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but he has done a great job in helping me pull together the newsletters and whatever with email and telephone discussions and whatever. He's really, really good at formatting things in a really positive way. I think he did a really great job, so I just want to recognize Bill's contribution to that area. So,
all right, there goes my thunder, right? Took it all away. Well, yeah, Bill Jasper has done a great job in working with Larry on the Budget and Finance Committee. Our focus has been in where our expenditures are, and as Larry mentioned, one of the things that our objectives were not to look forward at increasing the monthly dues, but to work within the budget and work within all of the scheduled maintenance that we know of that started in December when the board took office and moving forward. I'm also on the committee, the documents committee with Chester and Katie, and basically what that committee is doing.
me too.
You too, that's right. He's an overseer, but basically all the groundwork is being done by Chester and Katie and myself. But basically we're looking at those documents that haven't been revised since the original developer put the program together, building here at Victory. So it's part of modernizing the documents that are there, the bylaws and the things of those natures, and looking at also within those documents where there's a clear departure between owner responsibility and HOA responsibility. In the past, there's been a lot of confusion because the documents were old documents and they were vague. Because the developers that put them together that were building this place wanted them to be vague because they were responsible. So anyway, shout out to Chester and to Katie and Larry for working on these documents as well. One of the things that were pet peeve of mine, and that was submitting work orders for camp and then not hearing anything for months on status of the work order and things of that nature. So what we've done is we put together, and it's in your handout sheet, it's a flow chart that actually identifies all the responsibilities of the people involved in trying, from the inception of the work order that comes from the homeowner, that gets submitted to the CAM, we were losing it, and then the homeowner gets frustrated, and they call the CAM, and then they call the board of directors, and it was just going round and round and round, and nothing was getting done. So the objective is to have this policy basically a three-legged stool. You have the homeowner initiating the work order, you have the CAM processing the work order through the board of directors, then it's incumbent on on the board of directors to look at the work order, schedule the work order, get the contractors involved that need to get involved, and get the work done. All the while giving some feedback to the homeowner that submitted the work order so that they know that they're being heard and their work order is in process. So basically, that's all this chart does, and we put it on the website. But there's a lot more to it behind the scenes on this chart. And that just gives you a nice little flow. But basically, the objectives that we had were to manage the unscheduled maintenance, the things that cropped up that we hadn't planned on, and make sure that the work orders run through the system smoothly. And so the objectives were to manage the program, establish a work order tracking system, reduce the turnaround time for the work orders. Some of these work orders were like 6, 7, 8 months. From what I've heard in the past, and I'm a newbie owner here, is that it may have been years that people had work orders out there and they were never addressed. And more importantly, keep the homeowner involved in the process, keep them involved. Okay, so that's what we were striving to do. So as part of that, what happens is we have to put metrics on the board of directors because we voted them in there, and let's remember they're all volunteers. The people on the subcommittee are volunteers as well. But there are metrics that have to be made or addressed. So as we process these work orders and we start tracking each individual work order as to who's got it, where is there a contractor involved, have they been called, have they come out, we keep tabs on what's going on there behind the scenes. And more importantly is what I've graphed out here. In the beginning of the year until now, the work orders and the turnaround times have gone down, which is the objective. So, you know, the board is working on it, the subcommittees are working on it. Any recommendations that you as homeowners have, filter them back to Larry, because all the subcommittee people can do is put together recommendations and send them off to the board, and they are the elected official, and they vote on it. We don't vote on it, we just make a recommendation. Any questions on that process? Yes, sir.
I don't know if it's a question on this process. I want you to give me an example of what a work order is. What would a person call, can, or send it, and what do you consider a work order?
A telephone call to the can, an email,
That's
preference.
not what I'm talking about. What would go wrong with my unit that I would call for a work order? Tell me what a work, my sliding door doesn't slide, is that a work order? Or, you know, that's something that you would fix, that I would fix?
I'll give you an example. The unit that I own, right behind the electrical box, there's wood rot. There's a hole that big behind the electrical. I will type out an email, send it to the CAM. The CAM, in that flow process, will then send the work order to Larry. Now, one of the things they do for me is they run a work order listing every month, all the open work orders. And what I do is I put them in our flow chart so that we can track each individual work. So that would be an example.
The most common ones, Lonnie, are probably leaks. I did 6 of them last month with the heavy rains and everything. Wood rot problems, fence and gate problems, and light problems. But those are really some gutter problems occasionally. We just had some gutter issues that we worked on.
When in doubt, submit the work order.
Some people
You
get.
don't have to think about it, submit it.
You know, when you say maintenance and repair, in other words, to me, that's like something like you're talking about right now. But I've lived here for a long time. I've seen people get new balconies. I've seen people get new fences. Not that they didn't need them. I mean, do you consider that a repair or a work order, or that's actually a more substantial?
Yeah, to me, in my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong, that would be akin to replacing a roof because it's structural.
Now,
So it's not the whack-a-mole.
technically speaking, a work order is anything that the homeowner submits if feel need to be done.
Yeah.
We are independently evaluating and inspecting the buildings, and we do have several balconies that, right now, that are on our schedule for being repaired. So we are looking at the roofs, we are inspecting the wood rot, the gutters, that type of thing ourselves. But anything additional, or if one of those items is submitted by a homeowner, it's put in as a work order. And if we've already got it on the list, we will just tell you that we've already looked at this and it's going to be scheduled to be done. Again, what we have to do, and I'm also the treasurer, so in just a minute I'll talk a little bit about the finances. Obviously, we can't spend money doing repairs on, money we don't have. And we can't have a zero balance in the bank, so. Justin?
Expand what Lonnie is talking about here. My name is Chuck Brown. Sometimes the idea that work orders will tie in bigger efforts, I think could be a good topic of discussion here in terms of, you put in a work order and that becomes, combined with other things that need to be done for that building and the unit. Right, so that, you'd be addressing sizing the work order and fitting it in with existing plans to do repairs.
Yeah, remember, you have two types of maintenance that have been going on here at Big Tree for the year. One is scheduled maintenance. You know a roof is gonna come due 6
Right.
months from now, you schedule it.
Right,
You don't have to put a work order in for that, because that's already scheduled in the budget.
right.
Right? The work orders are for anything that's unscheduled, anything junk that comes up that needs to be addressed right
Well,
away.
apparently that would be the main thing, and Lonnie's answer would be if you've got a rod issue or a leak issue, that's when you need to put in a work order, right?
But like I said, if you have a doubt, put it in, put a work order. Let somebody address it, make somebody address it. You don't put the work order in, we're gonna address it.
Or maybe you're just concerned, when's my fence gonna get fixed, refurbished? That might not exactly be a work order, that'd be it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Louis, appreciate it. Luis? Let's talk about finances now. If you flip open your handouts, there's a bank balance sheet, and there's also our budget and our actual spending, which covers the month of July and year to date. Before we get into that, one of the things that we focused on and accomplished is dramatically reducing the accounts receivable, or the dues that hadn't been paid, by over 60% now. So we've saved going on almost $30,000 in money that had not been paid. And in some cases, it's because they felt they weren't getting the buildings fixed, I'm not going to pay my dues kind of thing. But we're down to just a couple people that are seriously late. A couple of them are on payment plans getting caught up, and a couple more are in foreclosure. And other than that, I think we've made a lot of progress. It's important that everybody pays their fair share to contribute. But again, we made an awful lot of progress. We follow up closely with it. If somebody has a problem, we will certainly work with them to help resolve it, but we can't have massive failure to pay dues. It just doesn't work for any of us. Okay, flipping over in terms of the finances, the first sheet is actually our balance sheet, which basically shows our cash in the bank. As of July 30th, we actually had $81,532 in the bank. And the second part is current assets. Our total assets are $92,465, and that's because we have a number of items that are already prepaid. Prepaid insurance, pest control, termites, that type of thing. So it adds another $10,900. So total cash in the bank is $81,532. Total assets is $92,465. So gives you an idea of where we at. When we look at our budget, where the money we've actually spent, we've by the way, if you look at this newsletter, it actually breaks it down building by building by building to all 40 buildings. It shows all the money was actually spent, all the money that's budgeted and planned, and the type of work that's been done. So we're trying to be as open and upfront as we possibly can with it. But flipping over to July, it shows our dues income for the month of July is $36,116.22. Our general administrative expenses were $8,968.64, which is under our budget of $10,636. And buildings and grounds, this is the first month that we've had a good month. We've been digging into our reserves to do a lot of the really critical repair work that it badly needed to be done. But in the month of July, we spent $14,496 on our building and grounds maintenance. Our budget was $24,228, so we're to the plus $11,788. The month of August, I will tell you, is going to be very good. It's going to be better than July unless something unforeseen comes up at the last minute. But what we're focusing on starting in September, October, November, and possibly part of December, we have some major expenditure items. So we need to make sure we have the cash available to put those roofs on, the new gutters, to do all the repair work, to get buildings cleared so they're able to be sold, those kinds of critical things. Again, the goal is to get as much done as we possibly can on our high priority maintenance items, and the rest of it's going to all be scheduled for 2/17. But if we look at the actual numbers on building maintenance and roofing, year to date we spent $156,000, $156,419 on building maintenance, which is $70,000 over the budget what it has been, and we spent $71,480 on roofs, which is $29,000 compared to our budget of $29,000. So obviously, you know, we knew from the beginning that we were going to go over budget, but we had to do this, or believe me, our community would still be, you know, in the doldrums. Again, I think August is going to be a better month in terms of finances, so hopefully we'll get the cash balance up into the $100,000 range. And then we're in the process now of carefully planning out the maintenance and repair work, roof replacements, all the maintenance and repair work that we'll be able to get done in the fall months. And certainly as we get the plans made, I'll certainly share that with you in advance at our future meetings. But 2017, again, the goal is to finish all the buildings. We've done major work on over half the buildings. If your building hasn't been repaired or you have work orders outstanding, and we've caught up on a lot of work orders. We had a lot of lights and things that were broken and not fixed. We've had security problems here. We got our security system going. We got new FDOT speed limit signs, caution signs, and directional signs. We fixed the lighting at the pool, both in the pool and at the pavilion, as well as putting motion lights and having 4 video cameras, because we've had some kids climbing the fence and swimming, we've had some vandalism, we've had some theft, and so we felt those things were really critical to provide the security and the protection that we need. So nobody comes in or out of Big Tree without being videoed, and as well as the boatyard being videoed. Someone had a trailer stolen out of there 3-4 months ago, when, you know, that's unacceptable. When people see the signs and they know their cameras are on, it's going to be a big help. So that's basically all I can think of right at the moment to cover. Chester?
The accounts receivable, how does that figure of 40,000 compare with the beginning of the year? And are we reinstating, and I'd like to explain, I understand more about the bad debt allowance. Is that where we're?
Well, it's accrual accounting, you know, and
Yeah,
I'm bigger on the actual cash myself.
yeah, okay.
It kind of balances out with the bad debt, obviously.
Is the bad debt allowance write-offs?
Yeah, it's not, I don't think it's gonna be as big as that, because again, we've cut down the bad debt dramatically.
Yeah.
We
I'm
haven't
wondering
changed
if-
any of our budgets.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we've reinstated any income.
What do you mean?
Reinstated income from write-offs. Have we reinstated any write-offs?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
They haven't, their accountant hasn't mentioned that to me.
Okay, so.
The numbers have been pretty
So we
consistent.
haven't, okay, you know, as we process liens and as we do foreclosure.
The only numbers that have really been changing, our income has been pretty stable. It's gotten actually better over the last
Okay.
several months as more and more people caught up. People were on payment plans and, you know, we instituted late fees, which they hadn't been collecting, and that's added. If you look on here, we've got, what is it? Interest and late fees, $5,400 year to date. So that has helped from the cash standpoint. But the biggest variance is the money that we're actually spending. And again, it's primarily on building maintenance and repair. That's the big bucks.
Right, compared.
We've been doing other things, but a lot of it has been, I mean, me and my wife are digging holes and putting the signs in ourselves. We get the best deals we can on them, and there's been a lot of painting and cleaning, and Kay and a couple other homeowners are out there power washing the pool and cleaning the furniture ourselves. So we're doing everything as effectively and inexpensively as we possibly can. So again, the more homeowners that participate in those kinds of things, the more we can get done, and the better. So,
Okay.
questions, discussion. Go ahead.
Have all the roofs been blown off?
Have all the roofs been blown off? Their schedule, they have at some time, and I know it's a problem. I talked to Elizabeth yesterday or Tuesday, was walking the grounds, and I specifically asked them to check them. At one point, they were on a schedule. They used to do them every 6 months, and we said, no, we got to do them every 90 days. But what they find is it's very uneven. One building, because of the situation and the number of trees and everything, and the gutters are full in 45 days, and the one next to it is not, you know, has nothing in it, basically. So,
Because mine has quite a while, my gutters are full, I've got big limbs on my roof.
well, send a quick email or reminder. I did several of that for that particular problem. For example, one of the homeowners by the pool was complaining of a leak, a gutter leak, and they're relatively new gutters. So I went over there, got on a ladder and looked at it, and there's no gutter leaks, but it's totally was compacted with leaves and pine needles. So we cleaned it out, and all of a sudden the leak is gone. So everything is fixed. So, but again, it's important. We've got to keep the leaves and things the roof's reasonably clean. It extends the life of the roof and the gutters, and it's the right thing to do for the Jonathan.
Hi, regarding bugs, are you guys still spraying for them?
The what?
Bugs. Are you guys still spraying the area? Are they still killing bugs as I used to see before?
No, not that I'm aware of. I mean, we got all seasons to do our pest control for our buildings, but
I think he's asking, are they spraying on a regular basis, the outsides? Is that what you're asking, sir?
Yes.
no, it's on an individual appointment basis. Is the way I understood it's always been. We've had them out like 3 times this year for our unit.
Because I used to see the guy come out and do it and stuff like that, and, you know, you used to see dead bugs going around.
I feel sure that probably overall for the community, the outside perimeter, checking for termites and spraying for general bugs, they are doing it on a regular basis. I saw him in the spring.
What's regular?
I don't know, because to be honest with you, I'm not sure what their schedule is. I feel confident you as a homeowner would certainly call and ask them.
Yeah,
If you don't want to do that, I think Larry maybe could get the information and share it next time. But I'm sure that All Seasons has a general schedule for the community. Any homeowner that has bugs inside, you call them personally yourself, and they will schedule it with you to come.
All you do is give them your name and your address and phone number, and they'll call you back usually within 6 to 8 hours, and they'll usually be out the next day or next time you're available to come in and.
I'll take that as a takeaway and ask All Seasons what their outside scheduling is and share it next
The
time.
reason I asked that is because I used to see like that bug all.
Right.
Okay, so therefore you know something's happening. So when you don't see dead bugs anymore, not that I have bugs in my house or anything, just because you don't see the bugs anymore, do they go on vacation or?
Well, I'll do that as a takeaway and ask, and we'll share the information with them. Or put on the board.
Okay, last thing, talk it up among your fellow homeowners. Get people involved in our community. The worst thing for a community like ours is apathy. People don't show up, they don't do anything, and it doesn't get done by magic. So, we need some people to get involved, and it doesn't have to be super burdensome. I mean, work with people and find things that you enjoy doing or you want to participate in. And some of our committees, like Louise and Bill and Chester, have been invaluable to do as much as we have. And again, we can get even more done if we have people that are willing to come in and pitch in and help a little bit. So.
Concerning permits for roofs, it is my impression that every time a roofing contractor does a re-roof of a building, they have to pull a permit with the city.
I can only speak since I've been, since December, when the end of December when we were on our board. But yes, work permits it's all filed with the city. The wind mitigation reports are done, and we've been mailing copies out to the homeowners so they can get discounts on their insurance and everything. So,
and what I've seen when
I can't go back and talk about past years. I don't know.
What I've seen when I've looked up the permits is that usually one of the addresses on the building it shows the permit and you get a fine by hitting one of those buildings, one of those units in the building. And then when the permit comes up, it usually references the other units in the building. Okay, but generally there's a way of being able to look and see the last time your roof was replaced and so forth.
Well, I can tell you, as everyone this year, we do a unit with 4 buildings. Every homeowner gets a, what do they call the official report that goes into the city? Not the wind mitigation, but there's a basic notice of commencement form, which the homeowner signs. It goes into the city, they get a copy of.
Okay, cool.
And then the roofer takes photographs and does documentation for the homeowner's insurance company. So you can, and we mail that out to the homeowners. That's been the procedure.
Okay, good. Are we using AJ well?
We have been, and we've been extremely well pleased with the quality of the work.
Okay.
For example, on building 15, Don Campbell worked for, Tom Trout for a lot of years doing construction. And he said he hasn't seen anybody do the kind of quality work that they really did, and putting the roof on, and they had to rebuild the chimney and everything. He said everything was top-notch material, top-quality work. It's really good, and they've been really good to work with. Again, I'm meeting with them on Friday to look at it. Last year, we got bids from several roofing companies before we selected Wells. And if they keep their prices going forward where they've been in the past, they're about as good as we're going to get. We're not going to get a cheaper price. And I know they do a really, really good work, really good quality. So my inclination is to stick with them. Again, we'll see what happens when we evaluate the buildings and it gives me his bids. But, I've been real happy with them.
Good.
We're in the process of actually putting together a new homeowner welcome package. They get a package that's a little bit out of date. Bill Jasper is actually working on it now. And part of it is clarifying that responsibility issue, but again, I do get questions and things from new homeowners. I'd love to have a committee, a welcoming committee kind of thing, which would really be positive and great. I look forward to meeting more and more of the new homeowners. We've made it a point to have social events. I haven't been overjoyed necessarily with the attendance, but at some of the events we had a bonfire in the fall. We had a game night in November. We had a cookout in June, was it? Free hamburgers, hot dogs, food, and whatever. And we have the same kind of people come and they're great and they're enjoying it, but still it's only 15% of the homeowners, or 20 max. So yes, I'd like to reach out to people. We'd like to make things available, but things people are interested in, they want to participate. We're not going to spend money having events that people, really don't want to attend. So get involved, talk it up, go from there. But, my wife thinks we should have an ice cream social towards the end of the summer. It's relatively inexpensive, and the pool and pavilion and everything is looking real clean and nice and good now, so we'll see. But again, let me know your interest. Anything else? If not, we'll finish a few minutes early. Thank you again for coming, and